Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert to on research. Today I'll just review BTC USD on the daily. Let's just talk about the overall macro environment right now. So as you can see, this 200-day EMA is acting as support and resistance. It acted as resistance at May of 2021 and also again in June of 2021. Resistance both times, and currently it flipped to support on this big move up. Now, price is interacting heavily with that area and it's flipping back and forth. As of right now, we're seeing price react fairly well to this 4-hour demand zone around 37K, and price is looking good in the short term. Now, does that mean a full term reversal is coming? Uncertain. There is a lot. Like contextually, price is still within this range. Price is still within this 40K range. It's the same range that's been there for the last several months, and this recent move up, breaking it around late July, this could have just been a deviation, and price could just tap it again and then head back down. Now, with that said, price certainly looks a little bit better than it did before, especially with other indicators such as moving averages. And personally, I always felt that price was going to hit 45 to 50,000 before it closed below new lows on high time frame charts. So far, that's proven to be fairly true, but I'll admit my timing was fucking terrible. I expected price to really break upward earlier, back in earlier July or even June, but price really just chopped around for quite some time, and then now it's moving to the top of the range. So from a macro environment standpoint, I actually still think that 45 to 50,000 is the next big move up. With that said, there's price could still just chop around for a little bit while longer. Could go to 40,000 and come back down to the equilibrium of the range around 34K. There's a lot of different potential possibilities for this, but regardless, what I'm trying to say is I think that the midterm bottoms mostly in, and price is going to go to 50,000 for the next big move. Now, let's look very briefly at some of these EMAs on the 4-hour. The 4-hour EMAs, these are all fairly healthy. As you can see before, there's a big gap between price and this 4-hour 200 EMA, the red line. And obviously when this got tapped right here, this was a solid resistance area. Price couldn't break it back in June. But when you see these bullish crosses on the EMAs, when the lagging EMA is getting bullishly crossed under, this is usually a good indicator for bullish moves. And it's especially nice to see that price was interacting heavily with this EMA in a healthy manner, meaning there wasn't a large gap between price and the 200 EMA. Usually when you see big gaps between the 200 EMA and price, usually that first tap is going to be a good resistance area. But because there was there were a lot of taps and a lot of interactions with this EMA, and there wasn't a huge gap, that in my opinion is a lot more sustainable in terms of a move than it was back in June. So what we're seeing right now is this demand area around 37K acting as good support. I'm unsure if this is going to still be able to break 42. A good trade trigger that you might consider taking is just waiting until 41K gets broken. So you could just wait until something like this happens, where price closes above and then goes up. And if price starts to consolidate around 41K or so, that's another decently bullish indicator in my opinion. You can see price just grinding around. That means that the sellers are getting tapped over and over, and price is probably going to head higher. So those are kind of my overall macro midterm thoughts on BTC. After we hit 50,000, which I think is likely, I have no idea where price is going to head. After that, price is, it could just even go squeeze higher to 60K for all we know. and then break down. It could go to 50,000 and then start breaking down, which I think is more likely. But the longer that price stays in the range, the more explosive the move is going to be. Now, I mean, there's always the possibility too that price can't break through this range and still just chops around, goes to the range lows, and then just chops around for another few months. And then we have a very explosive Q4 move. That's also a potential possibility. And of course, in my mind too, I can't dismiss the possibility also of this just breaking down. Maybe this breaks down to the range lows, hits like a bearish retest, and then just like heads lower. Like, I don't think that's very likely personally at all for a lot of reasons. Like, I think if it's going to go to new lows, I think it hits like 50,000 first, and that's like a certain possibility that I'm eyeing. But like, as of right now, like if we just go straight to new lows from here, I would be very, very, very surprised. But hey, you never know like what the market will bring you. In terms of macro environment, what does this mean for altcoins? I think that if BTC goes to 50,000, alt USD will do pretty well in general. Like, alt USD should move up for the most part. It's going to be very interesting to see what the reaction will be like for other coins that kind of led this rally, like AXS and other NFT coins. But in terms of like, coins like Rune, for instance, are doing very well, and like a lot of other coins like Link look pretty good, or XRP or VET, VeChain, like all those other coins, like they all look pretty good on the USD charts. So I think that alt USD is very likely to go higher if BTC goes to 50,000 like I'm expecting, and this is kind of the move I really was expecting for months now. It just took a lot longer. But that's kind of like my overall thoughts on alt USD, is that I think that if Bitcoin goes higher, then I think alt USD should move pretty strongly as well. Now, what does that mean for alt BTC? I do have a Binance chart. It looks like alt BTC like charts in general, like there's going to be a fairly mixed bag. These are just all the coins on Binance. Like, I need to update this and add, but like if you just scan through all these alt BTC pairs, they all look pretty neutral. Like, there's not any huge moves up, huge moves down. I mean, you can like maybe think that something like H bar right here is just like consolidating. I'm just doing like a very quick scan here. Coins like Kava, actually, this actually should bring some. This should bring some hope for a lot of alt BTC pairs, and the reason I say that is that Kava BTC was able to break through the highs that we saw back established earlier this year, meaning that there's actually hope that these alt BTC pairs can break even the big moves that we saw up earlier this year. And it's doing that currently in an environment that is like not really great for altcoins yet. So maybe we will see like another decentralized finance run, but a lot of alt BTC pairs actually look pretty decent for the most part. I think the Link BTC pair looks pretty good. It looks pretty bottomed out for the most part. But again, then you have stuff like this. Like, I don't know what this is. Nulls. This looks terrible. Like, this doesn't really look great in my opinion. Or so as I said, there's just like a very mixed bag of alt BTC pairs. Like, some look really good. Others just like look not very good at all. So I guess I would just do a scan. I'm fairly neutral on many alt BTC pairs though in general. They don't look great. But with that said, ETH BTC actually looks pretty good itself. So that might be pretty good for other alt BTC pairs, is that Ethereum BTC looks pretty good. Like, here is ETH BTC on the 1 week. I thought that this still was in a bullish trend, and it still is in my opinion on higher time frame charts like the weekly. And it looks like price is going to make this higher low around 0.055. I thought that maybe it was going to take a little bit longer, but it looks like price is still looking pretty healthy in the shorter term. Now, is this the absolute bottom of ETH BTC? Like, I think it's uncertain. Like, if BTC USD goes to like 50,000 pretty strongly, I think ETH BTC will go down and like retest 0.55 again. But so far, this 0.55 level looks like to be the short-term bottom. But like, regardless, I still believe this is a strong bullish trend, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this continue to chop around, make a low, and then go higher. So let's also briefly look at ETH USD. ETH USD on the weekly, it looks better than it did before for sure. But, you know, after this big nuke down, like, you know, something like charts like this look like terrible in my opinion. But, you know, it's just chopping around. It's still within this range overall. And I felt like this overall range high around 3,000 was going to get tested. It looks to me like the next area up. Like, I think it's pretty likely that this this $3,000 level does get tested, and from there, I guess we'll see the reaction. Like, you know, if BTC goes to 50,000, then I think 3,500 is pretty likely-ish, or mid 3Ks, and you know, if Bitcoin breaks down, alternately, ETH will break down as well. So. But for now, I think that 3,000 is looking pretty likely, and then from there, the reaction, I am not so sure. Like, you know, maybe like we just see like a decent pullback. This would be pretty confluent, in my opinion, with like BTC going to like the $4,000 level pretty strongly, or 41,000. Like, you know, if BTC goes to 41,000, then I expect ETH to also test 3,000. Like, they're both going to be at their respective range highs, and from there, I am not exactly sure what the reaction is going to be. You know, if BTC breaks up to 50K like I expect, I think ETH will go to like 3,500. So those are my overall thoughts on like the kind of market conditions right now. I do believe that the next big move up will be to 50,000 for Bitcoin, and that's kind of like what I'm planning. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for your support.